Good morning. We are going to be working on zero product property. These are your notes. Zero product property is a continuation of last week's assignment from factoring. So if you remember factoring last week, all we did was take something like the problem in number 2 and we put it into parentheses like problem number 1. Well, this week we are going to go one step further, okay? And I have the instructions written every single time we're doing these. So the first thing is to get it into standard form. So we want to make sure that it equals 0. Always equals 0, okay? And we always want the equation in standard form. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Set it equal to 0. It's redundant, but there. Then we're going to do the diamond method if we can. So remember, diamond is A times C. Here's your B. You're trying to find two numbers that multiply to give you the top or add up to the bottom. Then take your AX, put it on top, reduce, and you're going to put your answers in parentheses and if you have a GSCF. Now the new step is we're going to take each one of these parentheses and equal it to 0. And we're going to find out what the x's are equal to. Okay, that's the only thing. So the first one is done for us. We don't have to get it in. We don't have to do steps 1, 2, and 3. All we have to do is separate it. So we're going to go x plus 6 equals 0. X minus 7 equals 0. Get the x's by itself. And we do the same thing with the other one. And x is going to also equal 7. That's it. So once we get into the parentheses form, much easier. Now number 2, this one's not in the form we want it, so it is equal to 0. So 1 and 2 are already done. Now step 3, we want to do the diamond form. So A is 1, B is -4, C is -32. Do your diamond. So A times C goes on top, B goes on the bottom. Trying to figure out what multiplies to it and what adds up to it. So remember, I like to go onto the side. 1 times 32, 2 times 16. So 32 divided by 2. And you can even keep going. 32 divided by 3 does not work. It gives you a decimal. 32 divided by 4. So we get 4 and 8. And if we keep going, 32 divided by 5 won't work. Divided by 6 won't work. 7 won't work. And then we stop. Now, because the bottom is negative and the top is negative, we know one is going to be a positive number, one's going to be negative. So which one of these on the right, if we subtract them, will give me -4. And we know it's going to be 4 and 8. Now we just have to do, is it 4 minus 8 or is it -4 plus 8? So where's that negative going? And we want it to equal -4. So we want this one. So 4 minus 8. Then we're going to take the k, and I don't mind if you guys change it to x, whatever works. Okay. Okay. Read it from top to bottom. And read it from top to bottom. And remember, this time we're equaling it to 0. And what we're going to do is set each one equal to 0. And I think you guys get the idea. If it's just by itself, it's always going to be the opposite. And we get k is equal to -4 and 8. So that means it's crossing at -4 and 8. And if we do the discriminant, which is the lesson also this week, we would find out it had 2 solutions. All right. Same thing. But this time, it's not equal to 0. So it is in standard form, but we need to do this one. We need it to equal 0. So we're going to minus the 4. And we're going to get, and my A's I do capital because my lowercase sometimes look like numbers. So equals 40 equals 0. So A is 1, B is negative 13, and C is 40. Going to do the diamond. A times C goes on top. B is on the bottom. What multiplies to give you 40 but adds up to negative 13? Since the bottom is negative and the top is positive, we know they're both going to be negative. And remember, go and do the factors. So 1 times 40. Always start with 1 because for some reason you're going to forget that 1. 50% of the students, when they get to a problem like this, they always forget the 1, and it's the easiest one of all. 40 divided by 2 is 20. 40 divided by 3 will give me a decimal, so it won't work. 40 divided by 4 is 10. 40 divided by 5 is going to be 8. And I know that 5 plus 8 is going to give me 13. So I can actually stop right there. So I'm going to go 5 and 8. You could have go down 8 and 5. Really doesn't matter. Take the A, and if there's anything with it, which it will be on the bottom, I believe, read it from top to bottom. A minus 5 and A minus, oops, almost forgot the minus, equals 0. Set each of them equal to 0 and solve. So add 5, add 8. I'm just doing it all at the same time, make it easier. You can do each one separately, or you can do it together. Then we get it crosses at 5 and 8. Then we can always graph it to see if it's 2. All right, next one, same exact thing. Add 2, because we want it to equal 0. X squared plus 14x plus 49 equals 0. A is 1, B is 14, and C is 49. Do your diamond. A times C goes on the top. B goes on the bottom. Since they're both positive, our numbers on the side are also going to be positive. So it multiplies to give you 49, but adds up to 14. I hope you guys are good at the doubles, because this one, you could even do it without doing it. We know 14 is 7 plus 7. 49 is 7 times 7. And then we're going to take the x. Sorry about the airplane in the distance. We're going to go top to bottom. If it was a number in front of x, put it there, reduce it, and you do the same thing. X plus 7, x plus 7 equals 0. Since they're the same, you don't have to do it the same time. So x equals negative 7. What this just means is that when the parabola starts coming down to the x-axis, it's going to touch at negative 7 and then bounce back up. So if we just do a small picture, if this was negative 7, it's going to come down and bounce back up. That's it. It's going to touch at negative 7 and then go back up. All right, last two. And then you have the assignment for this week. So again, this one, you need to move the 6x to the other side. So whoops, I moved it. Sorry, you guys. There we go. Okay, so we're going to move the 6x squared minus 6x plus 8. Remember, we always want it x squared, then the x, then nothing, equal to 0. So equals 0. A equals 1. B equals negative 6. C equals 8. A times C. This one, what multiplies to give you 8, but adds up to negative 6. Since the top is positive, bottom's negative, we know that it's a negative times a negative. And if we did 8, 1 times 8, 2 times 4, It's the only ones that you can do. And since they have to be both negative and add up to 6, we're going to have to be 2 and 4, or 4 and 2. Take the x, put it on top. Same steps. Okay. I wish I had done more that had a as a different number, but I had to use what I had. Sorry, you guys. Plus 2. Oops. Plus 4, plus 4. So x is going to give me 2 and 4. So it's going to cross the 2 places. Now, number 6. This one looks nasty. I'll tell you that. It looks like 2 equations. We're trying to do a substitution. It looks like a big mess. But we know how to do this. It's very, very easy. All we do is move everything to one side. And I'm going to move my squareds first. And I'm just going to do everything all at the same time. I'm going to move the squareds first. I'm going to move the smaller one because I don't want to have to deal with the negative. Come on. Dealing with negatives is no fun. So we're going to move the 3r squared. I'm going to move it here next to the other r squared. I'm going to move the 4r, so minus it, and that will cross it off there. Minus the 2, and that will cross off. 4 minus 3, negative 4, negative 7 minus 4, and 30 minus 2. And this is so much easier now, right? Now we have the one that's a lot nicer. A is 1, B is negative 11, C is 28. So A times C, B, what multiplies to give you negative 28, but adds up to 11. Remember, go over to the side, list the factors, always start with 1. If you need to, have your calculator out. So 28 divided by 1, 28 divided by 2, 28 divided by 3 will give me 9.3333. I don't want to even put it. So we do 28 divided by 4, 4 and 7. And once we get to two numbers that are really close to each other, we stop. Those are all the factors. Now, top is positive, bottom's negative. So both of them are negative. And the, whoops, that was interesting. Now, we want them to add up to 11. 1 plus 28, no. 2 plus 14, no. 4 plus 11 will give me 11, and if they're both negative, all the better. Now we're going to take that r, and if it was bigger than 1, I'd put 1 in there too. Top to bottom, r minus 4, r minus 7, and make each of them equal to 0. So add 4 to both sides, add 7 to both sides, and we get that r, so it crosses the x-axis at 4 and at 7. That is zero product property. It's just a continuation of what we did last week. Put it into the parentheses, set them equal to 0, solve it. Now, if you had one where it was maybe like 2x minus 3 and maybe 4x plus 7 equals 0, you're definitely going to set them also equal to 0. But these are going to be more than one step. So we're going to add the 3. So 2x equals 3 divided by 2. And here, I don't mind if you give it to me in fractions or if you get it to me in decimals. Either one works for me. Minus 7 divided by 4 negative 7 over 4. And if we get it in decimals, it'd be negative 1.75. I don't care which one you guys give me. If it's one of these kind of problems, it's the same thing. It really is. Okay, if you have trouble getting it into the parentheses, go back and look at my video on factoring. It would be on last week, so week 6. I don't know if it went on to YouTube. It is on YouTube, yes. So if you don't want to use the Google Classroom to find the notes, you can definitely go on to YouTube. Just search my name, Stacy Ford, and you'll find all my videos, or almost all my videos. Sometimes they don't save to the other one, save to my YouTube channel, but they're all there. Definitely use them if you need to. All right. Also, if you have any questions, send me a message on my email. See me on Google Hangouts. We can do a Zoom meeting, whatever helps you guys. We only have a couple more weeks left. That's it. All late work is due by the 20th. So you guys have 2 weeks left. 2 weeks. That's it. 2 weeks to turn in your late work. I'll probably accept it until a little bit later, but district says May 20th. So get it done. See you guys.